world.
Amazing, ain't it?
With the release of Monster Hunter World finally here, I want to take some time to talk about the Monster Hunter series. Now, I'm still getting the hang of this whole video essay thing, so this one might not be as well constructed or as long as others you guys might be used to. I've been playing Monster Hunter since 3 Ultimate, and since it's become one of my favorite video game series of all time, I want to talk about that. First, what is Monster Hunter? It's a game series that started on the PS2 in 2004 with the original Monster Hunter, and has since grown to outrageous popularity in Japan and steadily rising popularity in the rest of the world. The most recent games in the series, 3 Ultimate through Generations, have been released on the 3DS, so Monster Hunter World going back to consoles is a major change for the majority of Western hunters like myself. Since the game series is called Monster Hunter, the title should be a dead giveaway for what the series is about. It's obviously about you being a new student at Trista Academy. Wait, never mind, that's Trails of Cold Steel. Since it's called Monster Hunter, you're obviously a prince trying to retake his... Wait. Shit, that's Fire Emblem. Since it's called Monster Hunter, you obviously hunt monsters for profit. There we go. The concept itself might be a little overdone, but it's the execution of Monster Hunter that makes it amazing. You kill every monster that moves, or at least you'll feel like it 400 hours in, and you've been knocked around by goddamn Khonshu's all the time. Rant for another day. Every game starts off with you making a novice hunter, one that is still learning the ropes of hunting. You get thrown into boring quests by the Hunters Guild, like gathering herbs and making potions, but all of those quests are necessary for understanding the basics of the game, such as crafting new items. Then, you are sent by the guild to research and discover new monsters. I say research because all you're doing is killing them. But the real fun though, starts when you begin hunting large monsters. The common starting point is normally a monster like the Great Jaggy, a complete pushover. But from there, the monsters only scale up, and soon you'll be fighting monsters like Kushala Daora and Teostra, monsters who are elder dragons, ones who are powerful beyond documentation. I should probably detail my own Monster Hunter experiences a little bit. Back in 2014 or so, I watched ProJared's video on the best games of 2013, and Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate was on the top of the list. I normally agree with what ProJared says about video games, and seeing him light up when he talked about Monster Hunter the way I do when I talk about Fire Emblem or Fate really piqued my interest. So I picked up Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for the Wii U shortly after. After not really having much fun in the beginning of it, I set it down for the next 2 years. Alright, set the scene. Imagine late 2014, early 2015. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate had just come out on the 3DS and was getting even better reviews than 3 Ultimate. I thought that this was the perfect chance to try the series again. While waiting to save up money to buy it, I picked up MH3U again and began playing. I was quickly reminded of why I didn't like it. The beginning few parts were slow and tedious, but it wasn't as boring as I thought it would be. So I pushed through the boring parts until I got to the Barroth in the online guild. At the time, I didn't understand that I should be doing single-player quests first, and continuously got my ass kicked. But I felt like I was getting close every single time, and that I could finish him off next time. Like every error was my own, and not because the game was being cheap. Of course, me being the unexperienced little hunter, I never finished Barroth, and he's still sitting on my Wii U waiting to be defeated. But I had fun doing it, and that's why I ended up buying Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So then the day came where I scrounged together enough money to buy Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and so I did. And hot damn, I played the shit out of that game. I believe it's my second most played game, clocking in at about 389 hours. The first played game is CSGO with 545 hours, but that's a video for another day. I got to G1 rank and killed off Gugmazios, one of the most powerful monsters in the series. Never broke HR 100 though. But one of my fondest memories has to be when I was watching Gaijin Hunter a very popular Monster Hunter YouTuber. He was streaming and he was hunting in G rank. I had just gotten to G rank myself and he was hunting a low G rank quest, the Rathalos. Unbelievably, there were 2,000 people in chat, I believe. But I timed my lobby time just right, and I got to hunt a Rathalos with him. But at this point, I'm just gushing a little bit. So, let's actually talk about the meat and the potatoes of the series, shall we? Monster Hunter is very difficult to talk about in terms of gameplay and recommending it to people. It's a game series that's extremely hard to get into due to the slow pace of the beginning and the complexity of the gameplay. Now, I'm probably going to echo a lot of what Pro Jared said about Monster Hunter, as he did convince me to get into the series, so please, don't crucify me for that. You can't go into Monster Hunter with a hack and slash mentality. Sorry, but this isn't the Warriors series with monsters. You use a variety of weapons, ranging from a pair of super fast dual daggers, to a light crossbow, to a big fucking sword. There are 14 different weapons available in Monster Hunter currently, and not a single one of them is the best or the worst. All are viable weapons and you can switch between them whenever you want. For example, in Monster Hunter Generations, I'm a switch axe main, but I also dabbled in dual swords and hammer. In Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I main greatsword but dabbled in other greatswords. Now, strategy is paramount when it comes to fighting monsters, as you don't always do a lot of damage to them, but they almost always do a shit ton of damage to you. Now, there is an easy way to remedy that though. Do more damage with better weapons and take less damage with better armor. But how do you get that better equipment? Well, you skin your enemies, of course. I'm not kidding. After you finish killing a monster, you can skin it and take some of its items as souvenir. Once you get a nice souvenir for the wife and kids, take it right away from them, send it off to the smithy, and forge that shit into a nice new armor and weapon. Increase your attack, upgrade your armor, and take out that monster that's been beating you up. In my case, that's Tigrex. But remember, damage and defense aren't the only things that matter. On weapons, you have sharpness on a spectrum of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, white, and purple. On each monster, they have different values on damage for head, legs, tail, etc. How much damage you do and whether your weapon will bounce off or not depends on your sharpness, making sharpness extremely effective. You also have elemental damage, like fire, water, electricity, etc. Monsters and armor both have elemental affinity, making elemental damage more or less effective to both your enemy and yourself. The last main thing on Blade Master weapons are critical strike chances. Most early weapons begin with 0% crit chance, but later on in the game, you'll start getting weapons with higher critical strike chances. But they do also go into the negative, making you do only 75% of damage that you would have done normally. Also, I don't play ranged weapons, so honestly this all looks like Chinese to me. Now on armor, you don't have just defense to think about, you also have affinities and skills. Affinities are for elemental damage that I talked about earlier. So if you make, let's say, Great Jaggy armor, you have high dragon affinity but low fire affinity, making you take less damage from dragon attacks and more from fire attacks. There are also skills, which are arguably the most important part of armor in Monster Hunter. There are positive and negative points for each skill, granting you a good or bad version of that skill, such as having ice resistance versus ice susceptibility. You'll usually get a set of skills for full sets of the same armor, making you want to stay away from using mixed sets. If you are new to Monster Hunter, I would usually recommend sticking to full sets of armor, but if you are feeling confident, or you just want to try something new, I recommend jumping into mixed sets, because you can find a nice combination of skills, such as the Bye Bye Kaiser set for the Greatsword in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. There are also gems to insert into weapon and armor slots to give extra skill points, so there's that to consider when you're making weapons and armor. Let's just say you have 9 points in ice resistance, but you just need that one more point. You can craft a gem, put it in a weapon or armor slot, and that'll boost you up to 10 points, granting you ice resistance. The gameplay of Monster Hunter is outrageously complicated sometimes, but it's incredibly fun once you get the hang of it. Each monster has its own unique design, some with subspecies which are even more powerful than the originals. Each of those have their own sets of weapons and armor that have skills and affinities. Some monsters are objectively better than others, such as Zinogre is objectively the best monster in the series, and Tigrex is the most annoying piece of shit the devil has ever spawned on this earth. Yes, I hate this monster more than Plesioth. But, of course, with all these monsters you have to use strategy to beat them. Except for Tigrex, that thing always kills you. To use strategy, you have to learn their movement patterns and attacks. Except for Tigrex, he has none! I'm sorry. I don't like Tigrex. On top of that, you should also find where they go to eat, rest, and how much damage they do when they get enraged. Monsters also give you status effects, some being Fire Blight, Thunder Blight, Water Blight, and there are some more. Some monsters even have their own unique effects, such as Chameleos or Mizutsune. Also, don't forget to eat at the canteen, as it'll give you extra health, energy, and possibly a buff if you're lucky. Oh, I almost forgot the music. Oh my god, the music. I can't even say that much about it. You just have to listen to some of these. Yes, I do listen to Proof of a Hero while I work out, and yes, it is amazing. So yes, everything in Monster Hunter is overly complicated, but that's kind of the fun of it. It has one of the most rewarding systems of progression in a video game, period. Because you don't level up, but you upgrade your weapons and armor instead. You can go into one of the most difficult hunts of the game without any armor and using one of the weakest weapons in the game, and it's all down to your own skill. I'm usually not a fan of intricacies in RPGs such as Dragon's Dogma or Dark Souls, the ones where you have to manage every little stat. But for some reason, Monster Hunter lets me play without having that be too cumbersome. Simplicity is golden, but Monster Hunter takes that rule and throws it out the window. It has a mix of interesting gameplay, kick-ass monsters, and one of the most rewarding progression systems I have ever experienced in a video game. And that's why I love Monster Hunter. Whew! Thank you guys so much for watching this one video. I'm trying something completely new here, trying to get away from anime cracks, trying to get away from my gameplay videos, and just doing what I want to do. This ending part is completely unscripted, so I just wanted to ask you guys, what do you think? I have some more scripts on my computers, and they're not all just things like this. I have theory videos, I have interpretation videos as likes of Super Eye Patch Wolf and Alexander. This was so fun to make. I made it in 2 days just using my study hall periods, just because I was so excited for the release of Monster Hunter World and to finally get something done with this YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please tell me in the comments below, do you like it? Do you think I should keep doing it? If you don't like it, just tell me down in the comments below. Please, tell me what I could improve, what I should do for next time. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Lectorn, and I'll see you later.